Who will be Ryan Poles' first ever pick in round one of the NFL draft? Poles is set to make his first ever pick in the first round of the NFL draft. Before doing so, he's already made multiple draft day trades, including trading down from the number one overall pick. That's rare for any general manager to have performed more than 5 trades in the draft before ever picking in the first round. We know how Ryan Poles ranks his players. Blue chip players are cream of the crop, usually the top 5 to 10 players in the draft, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham have both said the Bears have 6 to 8 players they consider blue chippers in this year's draft class. Next up would be red chip players. This is the range of guys that go first to second round usually, depending on the depth of the draft. You could have anywhere from 30 to 50 red players. I think this year's class is really deep in red players, guys who have starting potential early on in the NFL. Poles should be able to add 3 or 4 players from this bucket, if not more. It's weird to hear our media guys still asking Poles and Cunningham if they have first round grades on players. We've known for over a year now that Poles does not grade players by rounds. Most scouting rooms don't, but our reporters are still asking those questions quite often. I have taken one attempt at identifying Ryan Poles' blue chippers in this year's draft class. Today I've narrowed it down even further and will try to find who Ryan Poles' 8 blue chip players are. I've narrowed it down to 10 players, my top 10 guys who should be on the top of the Bears draft board tonight. I've taken everything Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, and Ian Cunningham have said into account. I've watched tape on all of these players, I've studied and assessed the critical factors for each position, and checked in on their measurables such as arm length and taken their athleticism into account as well. We all know this staff loves their athletes. Without further ado, here is my attempt at narrowing down Poles' top targets to 10 players. I will talk briefly about each guy and why they are on the board. I will rank the players in order of how I like them, not how much Poles likes them, because honestly, we have no idea. Other than finding players that meet his criteria, it's impossible to guess which guy would be his personal favorite. My personal favorite is monster defensive tackle Jalen Carter. He's my highest rated defensive tackle. He's an absolute beast, and if Poles is comfortable with his character, I don't care about any of the off-field stuff. In Ryan Poles, I trust. My number 2 guy is Tyree Wilson. He's a blue chip prospect, big, long, lengthy, athletic. He has the foundational traits to be a 10-sack-a-year guy and a Pro Bowl type of player. He's a perfect edge prospect, but he could add a few pounds and fill the 3-tech role on defense as well. If Tyree Wilson is still on the board, he would be an easy fit and a perfect fit. Number 3 on my list is a guy I've long assumed would be gone, but this draft is wide open. Nobody knows how this top 10 will fall. If Will Anderson is still on the board, it would be a home run. My 4th guy on the list is my favorite offensive tackle in the draft class for the Bears. Surprise, it's Darnell Wright. He tested as the most athletic tackle in this entire class. He shut down Will Anderson, and he dominated with Luke Getsy at the Senior Bowl. Bonus, he plays right tackle already. Deciding between the 3 tackles is tough. I have all 3 rated very closely. Paris Johnson is my 2nd favorite tackle and my 5th guy on the list. He has a ton of athleticism, versatility to play tackle or guard, and he's Justin Fields' former teammate. He just makes a lot of sense. At number 6 is my 3rd tackle, Broderick Jones from Georgia. He has the size, length, and athleticism to be a killer right tackle. He plays with a mean streak, and I love his game, but he's my 3rd rated tackle behind Darnell Wright and Paris Johnson Jr. He has the upside to be the best tackle in this class, though. My 7th guy is a cornerback. Devin Witherspoon is a beast. He's insanely physical and flies all over the field. He plays like Jair Alexander, and he will be a good player in the NFL. At number 8, I have Iowa standout Lucas Van Ness. He's a bit of a polarizing prospect, but it's hard not to like this kid. He has the frame and tools to be a Pro Bowl player in the NFL. He is raw, but his best football is in front of him. I think Van Ness will be a very good player in the NFL. At number 9, Bijan Robinson is the first blue chip prospect I've seen at running back since Saquon Barkley. He is nearly perfect as a prospect, but he plays at the running back position, which is being heavily devalued. You gotta love Bijan, he's a monster, but I don't think Poles is taking a running back. And then my final guy on the list is another corner, Christian Gonzalez. He's my least favorite of the 10 blue chip prospects I put together. It's not that I don't like him, he's just rated 10 out of my top 10 guys for pick 9. He's an athletic freak who could complete our secondary and give us a potential top 3 secondary in the NFL. He has the length and athleticism that Ryan Poles is sure to love. If I had to do an honorable mention, I would throw out the names Nolan Smith and Peter Skoronski. My 3 favorite scenarios right now are like this. From this list of 10 players, if he doesn't trade down. If he trades down further than we expect, maybe guys like Keon White, Adetomiwa Adebawore, or Joe Tippmann come into play. But as we sit here today on draft morning, I expect one of these 10 players to be drafted tonight and become a Chicago Bear. I would welcome a trade down with open arms, though. Out of the top 10, I think landing Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, or Tyree Wilson would all be big wins. They are my 3 elite defenders in this class. If we draft offensive line, I would be happy with Darnell Wright, Paris Johnson Jr., or Broderick Jones. Call me crazy, but I wouldn't even be mad if we drafted Peter Skoronski. After those guys, things could get crazy. The draft is almost here. It's draft day. I would pay to see Ryan Poles' draft board after the draft tonight. It would be invaluable, but they'll never show us. I have more videos coming today, and I will be live at 7:30 Eastern to cover the NFL draft for the first round. Please remember to hit that like button for me, and until next time, bear down.
You got to lose 14, 15 games to get a guy look like you. I play against you all the time because you got to lose 14, 15 games to get a guy like you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't never want to lose enough games to get a guy like you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I play against you all the time because you got to lose 14, 15 games to get a guy look like you.
Swifty in the house!
Thanks for watching Swift Sports Network. Like and subscribe for daily Chicago Bears updates, knowledge over narratives.